British actor John Boyega faces backlash after stating his dating preference: "I only date black."
How much you want to bet it was white women that were mad? How much you want to bet?
There's this hilarious post on Facebook right now about how John Boyega wants to date only black women, which, black love, hell yeah. But, like, white women are fucking having a field day. They're commenting things like, well, I only date musicians. Or, like, who are you? Like, trying to pretend like they don't know who he is. And then later commenting that they do know who that is. They just don't watch his movies. Or, like, this one woman was like, I don't date men in turtlenecks or purple suits. Because that's, like, what he's wearing. And I'm like, never have I ever been so offended by a celebrity's dating preference that I went onto Facebook and made it about me.
Some days back, the actor appeared on The Breakfast Club, and that was where he made his preference known. The actor did say it's not a political statement. He's a black man and he's just into black women, and that's that.
My women black, you know, and I feel just separate from, you know, a political statement or anything like that. It's just they fine as hell. They, you know, melanin levels got to be over 75%. You know what I mean? Thickness got to be there. Style got to be there. We got to laugh at the same jokes. We got to bump to the same music. It's just got to be a flow.
That's right.
I'm trying to have them conversations where I can talk my shit behind closed doors. Like, I'm trying to say, woman, I don't. And she's like, yeah, baby, yeah, you right. That's what I need. You know what I mean? I need her to understand a black man's anger, frustration. I need her to understand when, you know, certain dudes walk into the room and the energy ain't right, and she's just like, calm down, baby, like, chill. I need that. I need me a black
queen, man. I'm with you, King. You ain't got to tell me.
John,
All right, y'all. I think this is the first time in history I've ever seen anything like this in my entire life. There are actual people who are upset at a black man for saying that he only prefers to date black women or only chooses to date black. I want you to let that sit and marinate with you for a second, because I don't think you understand where I'm coming from. There is a brother, a British black actor, who has openly come out and says that he only prefers to date black women, and there's actual people who are upset with him. I never knew that it would be an issue for a black man to have preference for black women. And yes, I know this isn't my usual type of content, but you've got to sit there and really think about, how is it that you're going to be upset that a black man chooses to date a black woman, or that's his preference, right? He didn't specify whether that was black American women, didn't specify whether the women would be Jamaican, from the West Indies, Caribbean islands, or, you know, Africa. None of that. He just said that he preferred to date black women. So it's not black women that come from particular backgrounds or anything like that. He just said, I prefer to date black women in general. And apparently, it seemed like the people who were the most offended by this were white women. I mean, it doesn't matter who was offended by it. I guess I'm just trying to figure out, how did that trigger people? Maybe I missed something. But how in the world does that trigger somebody if a black man chooses to date somebody black? I mean, I know we're in an age where brothers like myself, we choose to travel abroad and probably date in other cultures. And, you know, you'll see a black man with a white woman every now and again. I mean, we come from that world where you know, we mixing races out this bitch, if you want to call it what it is. But I never thought in a million years that somebody would have a problem with a black man preferring to date black women. Now, I saw in a video earlier, there was a TikTok video about I think it was a Caucasian guy who was talking about all the women that he would prefer to date from different states, and none of them were black. And I think that might have offended some people, but never in a million years have I ever heard black people getting mad at white people for preferring to date white people, or Asian people preferring to stick with Asian people, or my Latinas preferring to date men that are Latino. I'm supposed to get mad or enraged at them for choosing to date their own? The fuck? Like, it doesn't register, nor does it make sense. Which is why I'm kerfluffled and confused at how that's even a thing. Right? Maybe y'all know. Would you get mad For somebody choosing to date somebody for their own ethnic background? No, I'm really trying to figure out how you could get triggered by somebody admitting that they prefer to date somebody from their own background. Nothing wrong with it. I mean, like I said, that's kind of like a normal thing. Like, you would be surprised at how many people actually prefer to date their own. It's not a shocker. It should be something you should be shocked about. I mean, are you offended because you thought that you could probably take all the men from one particular culture and get them to fall for you or something? Or are you triggered because you thought that you had full-on access to all the men in this community? Are you mad because it was a celebrity of sorts that made this comment and he just happened to be black, and maybe you expect that all black celebrities, men-wise, are dating white women or something like that, and he just said he just wasn't with it, and like, you mad? Are you mad at Denzel Washington because his wife is black? I shouldn't say this name, but are you mad at Bill Cosby because his wife is black? I mean, I'm trying to figure out what did I miss here? Is it a celebrity thing because he's on the main stage and he's got all eyes on him? If it was somebody like me making that statement, would you even give a fuck? I mean, it raises a lot of questions, right? And that's why I want to have this conversation, because I've never thought in a million years somebody would be triggered for somebody choosing to date their own. Does it bother me? No. I could care less who you date. You date who you love, man. It is what it is. But for me, I guess sometimes I think people just have to say something because it's in their DNA. Like, they have to have a response to it. Like me. I have to ask the question, why are you triggered by somebody choosing to date their own? Because that's innately in me. If I see a video about somebody being upset about something, I want to come to my audience and ask, would you be upset too? Does this hurt your feelings as well? Are you offended that somebody who is actually of your own ethnic background and race chooses to date somebody who is of the same ethnic background and race and or skin complexion? If you just want to keep it at base level, would you be pissed off if that happened? Oh my God, it's a black couple. Oh my God, that black guy's with a black woman? Oh, he's not with a white girl? You know what I'm saying? It's like I'm trying to figure out what would shock you about that. Because there's nothing there, in my opinion. You know, there's nothing there. Contrary to popular belief, the good doc really doesn't have a necessary preference for any race of woman, right? I like who I like, right? It don't matter where you come from. If you're beautiful and you rock with the good doc, hey, we can make it happen, Captain. If I was single, of course. But, you know, it's like when we talk about preferences, you know, some people do mistaken preference for being racist. I mentioned this in a video before. I think I put a short up. If it's not before this, it'll be after this. But your preferences are different than coming out as racist. Your preferences are, I prefer to date women that come from this background or come from this culture. I just find myself more attracted to them, and that's okay because that's my preference, right? It's different from a little racial standpoint when you say, I dislike this culture because, or I dislike dating women from this particular background, and you kind of use stereotypical reasons why you don't like them, right? You can go into examples, but there's no need for that because I don't want to offend anybody, but you get where I'm coming from. There's stereotypical reasons why you wouldn't choose to date a particular woman from a different background. That would probably come off borderline racist. But in this particular situation, how is that? What is wrong with a man having a preference for his own? You know, I just think that was interesting, and for me, I just had to bring it to the table. I'm definitely interested to hear what you guys have to say. Are you offended? Does it hurt your feelings? I mean, I know that I cater to a pretty eclectic blend and background of individuals. Shout out to my passport brethren. You know, anybody who utilized their passport to travel, that's what it's about. You know, and I'm just wondering, how would you feel honestly about it? Right? Do you even give a fuck? Or are you on the other side of the world or the other side of the crew that says, hey, this is wrong? A black man choosing to date a black woman is wrong, because that is the triggering moment and the triggering trend of people who are making TikTok videos about this man's preference, right? So that's my video, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you enjoyed. You already know what to do if you did. Comment section down below. Let me know how you feel. If you want to support the channel and the content, you already know what to do, ladies and gentlemen. Appreciate y'all locking into the Good Docs. Time for me to go and get to getting. Y'all take care. Y'all stay blessed, man. Doc is out. Peace.